So as part of this architecture, we started discussing about the app gateways, and I'm just recommending you guys just give a try from your end for the app gateway, whatever the approach we attempted. You just try to create a new cluster and try to connect that cluster with the app gateway and try to see. I'm going to replace this app gateway with Nginx now, and we will fulfill this architecture. But my strong recommendation is you just try with application gateway. So that would be the best one which you can think about when you are using Azure native services. Of course, if you are going for the open source, you can use some Nginx or HA proxy. You can use any one of those. And especially when we are trying to fulfill the Nginx, the concept is same. So Ingress concept is same. Instead of application gateway, Nginx Ingress will come. That's all. And how we can achieve that one, we will see now. And especially first you need to connect to the Kubernetes cluster. That's the step number one. Let's go to the Kubernetes cluster first. Alright. So please go there and connect to the jump host VM, or this is the DevOps VM. Just try to connect to this. Alright. So once you are inside the VM, so there is a technique generally to connect with Ingress. So what exactly the technique usually you can use here? You can use the Helm installation and the Helm. What exactly the Helm? The Helm is the one which we are going to use to deploy all the sources. So far, you played with application gateway, ingress controller, deployment YAML, secret YAML, service YAML, all these things as individual, right? If you create a templates and if you externalize the values, for example, let's take an example for the service. Here you hard-coded the service name, you hard-coded the namespace, you hard-coded the app name, you hard-coded the port and the target port and the protocol, everything you hard-coded, nothing parameterized. If you create a template for this, and if you could pass the input parameters by using an input file, that is what exactly Helm can do. And the collection of these templates, nothing but a Helm chart. Now, we no need to go for the detail of the Helm chart now because that is not our concept. Our concept is to set up the Nginx. Okay. To set this one, you can go for the Azure documentation, and you can look for the Azure Ingress setup. Okay, you can go for this one. I think we have a documentation for this one. You can proceed for this. Yeah, you can open this one. The manage Nginx in the application routing add-on. Let me just double check once thing what exactly this is talking about. Oh, they're not talking about Nginx installation. Let me just double check that one. Nginx Ingress. Yeah, I believe they're talking about the manifest directly. Just give me a moment. The first we need to install the Ingress. Okay, no worries. So just go for the search one more time, and you can look for even you can find third-party websites also. But I'm looking something inside this particular Azure documentation only. Okay, let's go for another one. We will see. Okay, all right. Install existing application with the Helm and Azure Kubernetes. Let's see whether it is fulfilling this one. So install application with the add Helm repository. Just give me a moment. The internal Ingress. Okay, Helm rep update. Now this is Yeah, I think we can use this technique, run Helm charts. Okay, and you can use this technique to deploy your Nginx. This is absolutely fine. Okay, list of releases, clean up the resources, and Helm uninstall. Okay, all right. So generally, I think you can see this link team. I think this link is good for us. I think we can take a look. And first and foremost thing, do we really have the Helm installed? So that's the first thing which we need to double check. Okay, and for example, I'm just copying this Helm version and going to the virtual mission, whatever the virtual mission you have. It is telling you I don't have any Helm installed on my VM. So how you are connecting with the Kubernetes cluster today? You are using kubectl, right? So in the same way, you need to use some Helm to connect with your Kubernetes cluster. Again, in kubectl, it's a CLI client to connect with the cluster. In Helm, the Helm is a package manager. So how you are using in Linux, you are using apt modules to just install any kind of softwares into the Ubuntu system. So you are using apt modules, right? Or something similar. You can use Helm here. Okay, it's a package manager which helps you to install any type of software into your system. So that is exactly the advantage here. But we will discuss Helm charts in detail. Okay, don't worry on that. I'm just using this one for Ingress installation. So since it is not giving any output for you, so first step what you need to do, Helm installation on Ubuntu. Okay, take this one as a first step. So just go for the installing Helm, and you can see some steps here. Or definitely you can see some uh, Debian or Ubuntu, right? So just copy this, copy all these things, and just come here. Under the Java folder, I'm just creating some thing, and I'm just giving Helm installation helm.sh. I just created some .sh file. You can apply command by command also. Nothing wrong in that. Paste all the commands in the helm.sh and just pull this one here and just submit. It is telling you the permission denied. You don't have any permission to execute this file. It is telling. I'm just changing the permission, executable permissions. I'm giving this for this file, and just try to submit and trigger one more time. So this time Helm CLI tool will be installed into your virtual machine. So that's the step number one. The how you install kubectl in the same way we are installing Helm. Okay, that's only the thing here. All right. So now we just go for the Helm version this time. I'm just trying for the Helm version. See something it is responding this time, right? The Helm got installed. So once the Helm got installed, now what exactly we need to do? So the next step here is, it is just giving some hint for you. Hey, you can go there and add repository. You can go there and add repository. And see, this is the first thing which you need to keep in your mind. If you add the repository, what will happen here is your chart will be downloaded from that particular repository. So that is why they will ask you to add the repository. And after you adding, you can search for the same. What is your repository name? You added Ingress-Nginx. If you search something similar, you can see that list which got added to you just now, right? All right. So this repository is needed because whatever the thing you are keeping here, from there or from this repository only chart will be downloaded in. That is exactly the bottom line here. All right. For example, this is a public repository which you are seeing in this command, right? You just go there and just try to search here. You can go for this. For example, if you just observe this command, they are just looking for, in this particular repository, they are looking for some Ingress Nginx. So that's exactly the a specific thing they are looking. So, and also when you search this particular Ingress-Nginx, it is clearly telling us, hey, this particular repository got added. Now, if any updates happened on this repository, right? So any kind of third persons or third party persons or any kind of other companies, if they commit or they contribute something for this repository, you can still take that update by simply submitting the command helm repo update. It will take the latest one which is there on the repository. And further to this, what we need to think about, we need to think about our Nginx Ingress installation. That is our main goal. So to fulfill that, you need to create a namespace. I'm just creating one namespace. You can create any namespace. That doesn't mean that you need to use only Ingress Basic. You can create anything. Just create the namespace. Once you create the namespace, what are the command you are seeing here? Copy this command, but don't apply blindly, because you may need to modify something. Just come here, and I'm just creating another file here. Some just nginx.txt, some text file I'm creating here. And as part of this text file, just paste the command here. You better use the shell extension. That would be always better, because it will definitely tell you is there any type of mistakes as part of this command. Okay, now if you see this one, now first and foremost thing, team, what are the values you're seeing? ACR URL, control image, controller tag, these things and all I'm not at all passing. Okay, first let's take those things out. Okay, those things are not really needed. I'm just taking those out. And also even I'm seeing three more here. I'm just taking these things also out, because those things I'm not at all passing. And again I'm seeing three more here. Just take this one also out. All right, so what are the command is telling us? You don't need to understand the command. So what are the command is telling us now? I think we are keeping the same thing, and especially I don't think so this is also really needed, but anyway we will keep for some time and we will see. Let's not fall into the issue now. And also it is telling controllers are two. Why we need two controllers? This is the same concept, because to maintain the high availability, always you need to maintain the sufficient number of replicas. So here the ingress controller means it's ingress controller, which can control the traffic from the source to the destination. So now once everything is in place, I haven't changed anything. I just deleted, I just cleaned the command. That's all. Copy this command. What are the command you have? Just copy this command. And if you notice one thing, you are going to deploy this particular ingress into the ingress basic. Okay, so now my suggestion is, so for you played with the middleware or something, right? What is that? The namespace is middleware -ns, right? Let's also deploy this one also into the same namespace. Okay, you can deploy into anywhere, because no need to create this namespace thing. To be frank, okay, because let me delete this particular namespace. Okay, I'm just deleting this particular Ingress basic. Okay, take this one out. So once this is out, and also now you are seeing the Helm install. So what are the things you are seeing here, right? Just copy this one. Okay, just copy this one, and just clear the screen and just paste it in. Okay, so now what will happen here is, the moment when you hit enter, it will install the Nginx chart into your Kubernetes cluster. So that's the first thing it will do. And please make sure whenever you are submitting these kind of commands, you got connected to the right cluster. This VM can connect to the multiple clusters, right? So but you need to make sure you connected to the right cluster. That is important. So something happened or something got deployed. So for example, so what are the things got deployed? Now let's go back to the documentation. See, some response we do see in the same way. You can also double check. See, something got deployed in this namespace. That's really good. So once that is done, now what exactly they are telling you here? Get external IP of your service using kubectl get services. Can you please read this command, team? So kubectl -hyphen namespace ingress basic. Ours is a middleware namespace. Get services, you are getting all the services. -o void, you are listing with the IP address. -w ingress -nginx ingress. This is the controller name will come automatically. Now what exactly they are telling? I'm going to get this service specific to this service. I'm just pasting this command. What are the things I'm cleaning for you? You can use this one later. And especially this particular ingress-basic is not the right namespace, and this namespace is middleware-ns. And to get the services, I'm going to get the services -o void. This particular thing is your wish. You can keep this one. Otherwise, it will list everything. It will list everything. For example, if you can submit this command up to here, you can see the response. See, it lists everything. But just to avoid the confusion, they're just trying to get this particular specific service, whatever you need to look for. Oh, that's exactly the thing they are doing. Just a moment. Okay, hyphen provide. What is exactly the name it is looking for? Just a second, team. And let me just drag this on this side so that I think we can see very clearly. Yeah, you can see here the service called, you can see Ingress Nginx controller, not admission controller, controller, the load balancer type, and you can see some 4.145.29.64, right? So this is exactly the thing, but what you look for? You look for Ingress-Nginx controller. Okay, I think this is exactly the name got produced for us. Okay, so just use this one. You just try to submit the command this time one more time, team. Okay, now you can clearly see, okay, this is your external IP. See, this is not a IP of your network load balancer. This is an IP of your app load balancer, which is L7 load balancer. Please understand that point. That's point number one. And also, this is an Ingress controller, which is giving a load balancer for you. But the thing is, what exactly you need to achieve? We need to achieve and we need to deploy, because this is cleanup resources, how to uninstall. So that is what exactly they are telling. You just need to uninstall namespace and specific to that particular release name you need to provide. What exactly the thing which I just mentioned. If you notice this deployment team, you can see you have deployed into the namespace middleware NS, and you can read this one also very clearly. And Ingress-Nginx controller has been installed, and it may take few minutes the load balancer IP to be available. Of course, we are seeing that, and they clearly mentioned use this command, but we use it the wrong one, so that's why I think we fall into the trap. But you can use this command. This command is the one exactly generated an IP for you. And the thing is, now it's time for you. This is an example Ingress which you can make use, right? Which you are seeing on the screen. Now we are going to use the similar one, and we will try to just bring the same thing. But how to do this case? Okay. So now just Control C and just go back. Now once you are done with the Nginx Ingress control installation, now you go back to the GitHub. Okay. I'm just going for the GitHub, or what are the GitHub we have. Okay. Is our GitHub. No worries, I think just go for the login then. Okay. Okay, so once you are here, I'm going to submit this particular repository. This is your repository which is shared with you guys. Okay. Just give me a moment. The repository link is handy, you guys can share it. So now go back here. I'm just going for the repositories, and the Azure AKS is fine. And when you go for the Azure AKS team, just open this Azure AKS, and as part of this Azure AKS team, here you can see something. For example, you're seeing some internal Nginx, right? So you're seeing some internal Nginx, and especially, and you can use any type of external Nginx. Okay, two things you are seeing. We just install something similar to the external Nginx, so your case is done. And especially, the thing is, what exactly the difference between the external Nginx and internal Nginx? Internal Nginx means internal IP team. External Nginx means external IP. That's only the difference. Okay. And if you use internal Nginx, it's internal load balancer. You cannot expose to external world. But external Nginx is the one which you can expose to external world. Okay. For example, let's open the external Nginx. So this is the external Nginx exactly it is just recommending to you. Just copy this one and just go back to your Visual Studio Code. I'm just going to the Visual Studio back. Okay. And you just come here and especially create a file. Here I'm just creating one file. Okay, new file I'm just creating. I'm just giving some external Nginx. Okay, Nginx is the file exactly I'm just providing .aml. Okay, once you provide this particular external Nginx.aml, so advantage of using this particular external Nginx YAML here is you're going to expose your service to the external world. And I already told you it's L7 load balancer. If you notice this one, it is something similar to your AGIC. There is no difference actually, if you notice very clearly. If you notice AGIC only difference is one annotation. If you see AGIC, This is the only annotation is the difference. Okay. If you see this one, rest all same. There is no any difference. But the important thing here is the class name. This is really important thing, team. So what are the things generally you're just mentioning here? You should give the right one. For example, you just come here, kubectl get ingress class names. Okay, class name. When you try to get the ingress class name, kubectl get ingress class hyphen a. Yeah. So when you try to get the ingress class, okay, ingress class is the one 8 minutes 8 seconds which you deployed. The class name is Nginx. This is very important, and you should use the same name here, right? That's what got deployed just before with your Helm chart. That's the point number one. The point number two, and whatever the service you're trying, generally you have, I think you already placed the middleware FNSVC. That is absolutely fine. But the port number, if you notice your port number, your service port number, your middleware service port number is 8081. Please use 8081 here. That's it. That's another one. The rest all same. I think I don't see any kind of any other issues also. Rest all same. I think you can use the same thing if you have the multiple services, multiple microservices. You can still use the same thing and you can deploy. And once you are done with this particular part, the next what you need to do, which simple thing, you just need to apply. You keep ctl apply and ext nginx, just submit this one. That's all done. But it is saying namespace is not found. So that's another mistake we did. This namespace is not Ingress basic, no? This namespace is middleware hyphen ns. Okay, that's all. Now just submit the command one more time. External Nginx got created. Now you just come here, kubectl get ingress, okay? Get ingress hyphen a. Now you try to get the ingress, especially you're seeing okay something called external Nginx is also placed. But still I'm noticing the address issue is still coming for this one also. There is some problem with our Kubernetes cluster. I highly doubt on the Kubernetes cluster actually, okay? So I think something wrong with the Kubernetes cluster. That is why I think it is not giving anything. But anyway, let's try. Okay, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm just describing the Ingress. What exactly the Ingress name? Ingress is external Nginx. Copy that external Nginx and have a name. Under this namespace, I'm just double checking is everything service got captured or not. I'm checking. Now you can see, okay, see the middleware service got captured and the middleware pod IDs are also there in place. And I do see everything is in place and everything is in sync. Now to know what exactly the address being allocated for, this is the public IP, whatever you just generated just before. So which is some 4.445.294.64. So that's what exactly your control IP. That's the thing exactly you will use here also. And when you are going here, and just come here, http:// just come here. Okay, here no need to define the port number because it's L7 load balancer. You don't need to define any type of port number string. You directly go there, and as part of this particular thing, where exactly you are listening to, you are listening on the middleware. So when you are listening on the middleware is exactly the endpoint which you are listening. See, it is responding true. Say your Nginx control is working. It is responding true. So and also you can double check the same thing when you go back to the GitHub repository, right? When you go for the GitHub repository, sorry, not GitHub, your Azure repos. Okay, when you go for the Azure repository stream, you just come to the Azure repository as part of your repository. If you go there and sorry, I think you just wrongly opened. Oh, sorry, oh, so we are wrongly searching for a repository. We just come here, team, as part of this repository. What of the repo we just clone, which is the AKS, right? Just clone the AKS. You just come here as part of this particular main main sources and application Azure properties, right? When you see this one, team, it's a middleware, it's perfectly responding, and you go inside and checking this particular other controllers as well. When you see and go there for the other controllers, here I'm just checking one more controller, and I'm seeing something called hello world controller. The hello world controller, you can see something, okay, you can use this particular endpoint also, which you can give a try. And I'm just giving this one, I'm just using something called here or training or something like this. The thing is, see, hello world training. So the thing is, your application is perfectly working. Now As part of your architecture, you replace that one with your Nginx and the public API also been assigned. So everything is awesome, but thing is API management is needed. This API management is needed. To be frank, this provision, this API management will take 15 to 25 minutes time. I mean, this provisioning part will take that much time. So usually I'll be ready with the API management for the tomorrow session. But actually, what exactly I'm going to connect? I'm going to connect your friend door directly with your Nginx. Even that is also possible thing. Or nothing is impossible here. You directly connect this one here. But what is the problem you are getting? You are getting a problem. Your API's authentication authorization is missing. So that is one thing which you can sense it. So to just make sure the authentication authorization, always it's a very good practice to have the API management in place. If you go for the AWS cloud, you can see the API gateway. If you go for the Google cloud, you can see the APZ. So these are exactly the similar components which you can think when you go for the other clouds. And everything is in place. Now what exactly I'm going to do? I'm going to connect the front door with this particular load balancer. If you could connect the front door, obviously your entry point will be HTTPS and everything will be sorted, right? And you can whitelist your friend door IPs or CIDR at your Nginx controller also, which is tightly connected. In that way also you can think about the case. And for now, if you want to simulate this connection, let's go to the portal. Yeah. Yeah, as part of this particular thing team, I'm just going for the friend door. Okay. I will explain API management importance tomorrow, Shakti. Okay. We are not focusing on that now. I'll open that one tomorrow. Yeah. Just come to the friend door profile. Now I'm just coming here as part of the IDPO 300. I'm just giving this particular thing FD connecting to Nginx. Okay, or something like this. Okay. FD Nginx controls. Sorry, Control V, Control A, Control C. Okay, standard. Everything is awesome. And just get this endpoint. Everything is fine. You just come here. Here you can see the not API management. This time ours is not API management. Now tell me which one I need to select. The public IP address. You know, from this friend door, even you can connect to the Google Cloud backend also. That is also absolutely possible thing. You can just select the public IP and just select this particular public IP. Once you select the public IP team, origin hostname it is just asking. So what exactly the origin hostname you are using at the moment? If you go back to your portal to think about and you need to use, so whenever you are playing with your friend or and the Nginx, but this connection I'm not recommending you, but I'm just telling you, I think even you can connect the friend door with this Nginx, but the best way is to connect this one with API management with this one is the best way which I can suggest you to. So that's always the best thing. Okay, even your specifically your APIs are completely authorized and secure if you use the API management in between. Okay, and this is also possible. I'm telling this is also possible if your client is not really interested to use this particular friend door and all. I believe, sorry, API management and all, you can use the friend door as a direct connect. You can recommend him, hey, we need DR solution anyway, right? If you need the DR solution, we'll use friend door. The friend door with this particular connection, friend door with this one. That's the thing exactly you can recommend. So if you go for AWS, it's a Route 53. With the Route in the place of FD, Route 53 will come. The Route 53 also will do the same thing, team. Will do the same thing. If you go to the Google Cloud, you can see the cloud global load balancer. So global load balancer also will do the same thing, routing between the two different regions. Okay. So that is the thing exactly you need to think about when you are having architecture with multi-region. Thank you for the session. See you in the next part.